Hey everybody, welcome back. You're watching Behind the Lens, episode number 2. On this week's episode, we'll be taking your images that look like this, and we'll be making them look like this in less than 2 minutes. Stay tuned, roll the credits. So welcome everybody. You'll remember in episode 1 last week we were out on location with sand binding in the hills of Somerset, and then lockdown 3, COVID. Oh, you little, yeah. But we will not be defeated, so we have come back inside. We are in my studio. By studio I mean kitchen, because the studio upstairs is actually in the process of being built. And we will take your images and we will show you what you need to do to make them stand out on social media, make them pop, and just make them stand out from the crowd. And we can do that for you in less than 2 minutes. All you're going to need is your laptop and Adobe Lightroom installed on it. Or if you've got a smart device, then just make sure you've downloaded the Adobe app from the store that you use, and we are good to go. So let's start the clock. There should be a stopwatch thingy appearing here somewhere, I think, not sure where, and we will dive right in. So here we go. The image I'm going to be using for you today is one of my well-known images from the storm in Porthcawl last year, and you can see straight out of camera it kind of looks a little bit grey, a little bit washed out. So we've got less than 2 minutes to make this a little bit more dramatic. The workflow I am going to show you is very much the workflow that I tend to use on all my images. So we are going to bring the exposure up a little bit, because everything on a laptop is a little bit lighter than it actually will appear in the final product, because it is backlit. We want a nice lot of contrast here between the foreground and the background, and the different tones. Highlights, I generally, if it's a sunset or a sunrise, I take them all the way down. But for this one, because the wave is backlit and it's nice and white, we're going to bring those highlights up. It was actually sunset at the time and the wave was getting backlit by the sun. Shadows, well, we want to see the details, so we're going to bring those shadows up somewhat. Whites we're going to bring up. This is what I do on all my images. I just raise the whites slightly, and then I take the blacks the opposite direction. Just again helps with the contrast. And then this is where the magic happens. Clarity. We are going to pull all that clarity the way through, just to make the details of the image crisp. And this is where we get rid of all that sea spray and haze, so we can see the real detail of what's going on by adjusting the dehaze slide and bringing that up slightly. Vibrance, I want the colours on this in the tones because it's quite strong already to be muted somewhat, so we're going to take that down a tad. Okay, now even with just those adjustments, which I hope is less than 2 minutes, I'm not entirely sure because I can't actually see the clock, but it certainly didn't take a long time to take our image from something that looked like this to now looking like this. And I think you'll agree that's somewhat of an improvement. Okay, so after this you can generally play to your heart's content. There are a lot more things and adjustments that you can do, but what I was aiming to show you here is with just a few adjustments, just a few subtle tweaks to your image in Lightroom, in less than 120 seconds of your time, you can make something that's a good image but not a great image, something that really stands out amongst the other images on social media. And that is the point of these tutorials. We're going to take you through things that you may not know that will, if you're a beginner or if you're an intermediate, really enhance your images. We're going to do the same again now, but we're only going to use mobile. So your smart devices nowadays have great cameras that are really underrated, but again, the initial image can be quite flat, and we don't want to use filters. This is about taking an image and enhancing it with the detail that is already there but may not be able to be seen. Okay, so less than 2 minutes on the clock again. Adobe Lightroom, open up on your smart device, and let's go. So we're going to use the same image, the Porthcawl storm shot. Open up on the app, and again it's a case of making everything that little bit brighter. It's quite a dull washed out photo initially, so we're going to raise the exposure. It's going to be very similar to what we did on the laptop, but things do change a little bit on the map, on the app, apologies. The contrast is going to go all the way up. Highlights, again, you can see the difference it makes between having low lights and highlights. Highlights all the way up. Now I'm going to go a little bit different on this one. Shadows increased on the laptop version. I'm going to actually pull the shadows down on this one and see the different effect that actually makes. Same again with your whites and with your blacks. We're going to pump the whites up. We're going to nudge the blacks down. And again, remove chromatic aberrations, enable lens correction. Not particularly important on the mobile app, but I do them automatically anyway. And again, where the magic really happens to bring detail through is with your clarity and with your dehaze. So clarity, we're going to push that all the way up. You can just see the detail pouring through now. And then with the dehaze slider, we are going to alter that to take out any haze, any spray. There was a lot of spray on this day, and really make that image shine. Now, vibrance, again, we want to mute these colors because it looks a little bit unrealistic at this point of time. And pretty much there we have it. There's your before, there's your after. So there you have it, ladies and gents, in less than 2 minutes, whether it's a mobile image, a cell phone image, or whether it's something you've taken with a more professional based camera. Just these subtle techniques and tweaks within a program like Adobe Lightroom can make a massive difference to your images. It's not about using filters. I hate it when I see people put hashtag no filter on an image. Because it's really disrespectful to the work and the editing and the creativity of photographers and what they do. It's not about cheating and chucking filters on. It's about bringing through the detail what your camera has actually been able to capture, but you can't see with the naked eye. So that's it for today's lesson. Behind the Lens will be back every week, most likely on a Sunday, so please hit the subscribe button if this is of interest to you, and we will get you through the lockdown period and teach you a few things so that when we come out of lockdown, we are all in a better place to make some great images to share. Ciao for now.